We go. Good morning, everybody. It is another day in paradise in beautiful Las Vegas, and we have a great show today. Let's get started with the stats, and then I'm going to introduce someone to you, and then we're going to watch my mentor, Mari Smith, talk about video. So we have 0.97 months of inventory. That's less than a month. First time that's happened this past week. And you all are selling 103 homes per day. That is amazing. And compared to last year, everybody, we have done 813,000 more, 689,813,000 more homes in volume than we did last January through the first 28 days. Wow. I would say that commissions are up there a bit more. That's a good news. And like I said, the iBuyer platforms are not as robust this year, so more agents are making more money, and we love that. So I have a little announcement about our ethics class next week. It's on Monday. It's Did You Cross the Line? And it is presented by Jimmy Dague, who couldn't be here this morning. So it's at the training center, or you can Zoom. And we have limited seating. If you come to the training center, you have to let us know. And when you sign up, you'll see the email to let us know about that. And also, when you come, you have to wear a mask, of course, guidelines. And then, let's see, 3 to 5, that means we have happy hour. Oh my goodness, that's a happy hour time. Yeah, when it's 10 to 1, it's lunch, but when it's 2 to 5, it is happy hour. So about 3:30, we have our sponsor. She always brings in great refreshments of all kinds and lots of appetizers. So we hope to see you there. Sign up at be.vegas or go to lasvegasagentformula.com or agentformula.com. So it's one of those 3 sites. It all goes to the same calendar where you sign up. All right, everybody. I want to introduce a person who has been on my show before and who has been on my Saturday show. And he is into video and he trains people. And I'm going to let you tell him, Phil. Tell everybody, Phil, come on up. Who's coming up is Phil Valentine. Hey, Phil.
Good morning, everybody.
And you want to tell them a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. I've been an actor for 40 years, but soon after I started acting, I became an acting coach. And I've been teaching acting not only to actors, though, to athletes, to professionals, corporate executives, not really teaching just acting, because when I was an actor, I was a painfully shy kid, and I took acting to get over my shyness. And then I found out that that is the number one fear of most Americans, is public speaking. So I took what I had learned and paid it forward in teaching other people why they get nervous being the center of attention, how they got that way, and how to permanently overcome it, not how to mask it, how to permanently overcome the nervousness.
And if someone wanted to call you and schedule a private training with you, what's your phone number, Phil?
My phone number is 702-349-0301.
All right, and I'm going to put that on the screen here with a little bit of luck. Come on. Let's see. There we go. They're constant. I'm always telling everybody they're constantly changing the platform, so you just got to get used to it.
Yes, they are.
There it is. Let's see if it shows up. There we go. So contact, 349-0301. Contact Phil if you want some one-on-one training on overcoming your fears with video, and he will teach you how easy it can be.
It can be, because there's a psychology behind it. You know, there's a reason why you get nervous. So that most places will try to teach you how to mask it. And that doesn't really work very well. People still get nervous. And it's really better if you find out why you get nervous so that you can purposely overcome it. Then when you get on video, whether it's for your website or to do a Zoom meeting or a presentation, if you're not nervous, you can focus on content. You come across as more believable. And, people buy things from people that they trust and they believe.
Yeah, right. And I know everybody that is afraid of it overcomes it if they talk with you. You have helped me and Kane so many times, and we just really appreciate you. And we know that we're recommending the best because you are so good.
Well, thanks. And that's because, the best coaches were only mediocre players. I learned that a long time ago. I was not a great actor. I needed a lot of help, and I got a lot of help. And nobody comes to me with a problem that I personally did not have to struggle with and overcome.
I think that, yes. And just for credibility, and you did the Hollywood Squares.
I did the Hollywood Squares back in the 80s when John Davidson was the host, and Joan Rivers was the center square. And it was a very interesting experience because it was my first time on television. I was a game show contestant. And I don't know, not even a minute into my first question, I picked Joan Rivers, and she had a meltdown, and walked off, and I couldn't believe it. Now, that's a whole long story to that I will tell in my class, but there was a reason for it. And I went from hating Joan Rivers to loving Joan Rivers after I found out why she had a meltdown. And it was a great experience. It's a great story. I have a lot of great stories of celebrities and people in the industry, in the acting industry. And now I do corporate team building mostly, and teach and train anybody who has to get in front of people, especially athletes. Athletes who are competing, they are better at practice than they are when they compete. That's that nervousness. It's the same thing. Nervousness doesn't make us better. People have tried to tell you that you can use that nervousness, turn it into something positive. That's kind of hard. That's like turning anger into happiness. They're different kinds of energy. So I would rather change it to positive energy.
Yeah, I know that I get nervous, before a class or before, I'm always in that crisis mode, trying to get everything together. And like this morning, I bet you wondered if I was going to show up because I like slide in here like I'm going for a home run. And I get nervous, but then once I get into it and I see my beautiful fans following me, and I start getting into the beauty of giving. I love that. It's just you're giving people, and it's about them. I think one of the things I learned from you more than anything else, it's not about me. It's about you.
Yeah. And when you take the focus off of yourself, it really does relax you. I will tell students who are trying to get over the nervousness, I will have them teach it to someone else, teach what they've learned to somebody else. And they find when they take the focus off themselves and they're teaching someone else, they immediately relax because they're no longer focused in on themselves.
Well, you know that every show, and this is another thing, everybody, I learned from Phil. I learned from Phil a couple, 2 years ago now, that I can use those stats I bring on every day as my icebreaker.
Yeah.
And so I get into the mentally into the stats and what's going on with everybody, and I forget about myself. It really works.
It's just like psychiatrists. Psychiatrists do very little talking. They ask a lot of questions and they do a lot of listening, and they take the focus off of themselves. And when people start talking, especially when they're talking they're struggling with something, you can feel and you can think about 100 different things at once, but you can only talk about one at a time. So when you talk to someone else, sometimes for the very first time, you are sorting it out in your own head for the first time. And then the solution to your problem becomes obvious to you for the first time.
Yeah, that's so true. So true. And I'm going to segue over to, I'm doing part 3 today of video training by my mentor, Mari Smith. She's all about live streaming on Facebook. And we are on module 3 today. And then this afternoon, we are going to go into we're doing preparation now, Phil, but then this afternoon, we're going to get into Mari's version of how you overcome fears, how to enhance your image, and the best practices. And we're going to have a whole checklist. So I'm really looking forward to that today. And let's stay in touch, and hopefully someone will reach out to you, or many will reach out to you, because you are just one of the best. And just give Phil a call and talk to him. Right, Phil? Just and tell him what your concerns are and see if you all are a fit, because he was a fit for us, and we tried to do a class, didn't we? But people were too scared to get together and do it. So I think the one-on-one might be better for you.
Yeah, no, it'll be fine. Yeah. You know, whatever anybody needs, I love to pay it forward.
I know, you're the best. All right, I am going to, we're going to say goodbye to Phil. Phil, I'll be in touch with you. Let's keep in touch. Thanks for reaching out to me, because, you know, I get busy and I forget.
That's okay. Everybody have a great day.
Thanks, Phil. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, everybody. It's such a great person. I can't say enough good things about him. Please go on and give him a call, because if you have any fears about video, he can answer your questions, and he can decide if maybe you need his assistance. Anyway, he's fantastic. But let's get on right now. So here we are today, and we are picking up where we left off yesterday. I think we were right at the call to action portion. Let's see. Let's say good morning to Deborah. Good morning, Deborah. Hope to see you this afternoon. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Joan. Our team is here, ready to go. Leslie's here. Got another person. Good morning. Another person. Good morning. Again, sometimes you have to say your name. I don't know why Facebook doesn't put your picture and name up there, but I have nothing to do with that, everybody. Let me just say one more thing here before we get started. Let me go up here. January 20, what is today? The 28th. Here we go. Okay, so we're going to do here, decide on your call to action. That's where we're going to pick up. I'm going to solo off. I'm going to mute myself. This is going to be in two 7-minute segments, because then it doesn't slow the video down, because sometimes it gets slow if you upload too many megabytes. Just a little tip. Okay, so let me solo. I'm going to solo myself, mute myself.
Also, this is all ahead of time for planning. You're planning for success in this section 1 here, right? That's what we're talking about. We properly plan and prepare for successful live streams, okay? Scrolly. Decide on your CTA. CTA is call to action. What is the thing you're going to ask people to do when they finish watching your live? But there is a caveat here, because we want to capture viewers that come in and out. They hop on right at the beginning, and then they're maybe only there for a few minutes, or they come in part way through. And we have to remember that not everybody's going to stick around for the entire broadcast, whether it's 3 minutes or 3 hours. Okay. So what I'm building up to say is, when it comes to your call to action, inviting people to take the next step, you want to pepper. We use that word pepper, or seed, a kind of a term speaking from the stage industry is called seed. So you're seeding your content. So you'll say, you can find out more about this. The link's right there in the comments. We pinned it to the top, or, we have this special offer going on right now, or download your free, whatever it might be, your free report, and all of that can be actually placed in the description section of your live stream. So whether it is a lead magnet, you're getting people to opt in with their email address, or you're selling something, you've got that all at the ready. You can also place it as a comment and then pin the comment. Or I would have someone on your team do that, ideally, if someone who's an admin, or you can just take a quick minute to do that. Often easier on the mobile device. Because if you're streaming from your screen, your computer, and then you're like trying to also navigate to Facebook, I haven't seen that any of the third-party apps allow you to easily tap a button and pin a comment. I think that's something that Facebook's API doesn't actually allow for. Okie dokie, so moving along, on-screen graphics in this section is totally going to depend on your preference. You'll notice that if you look back over some of my lives, I know many of you have been following me for a while, I sometimes will do an on-screen graphic. A lot of people go crazy and do all kinds of fancy things, and then they put themselves in a little, I mean, I know I'm in a circle. I'm talking about like it's a full-on graphic, and then they're like inside of the TV or something. And that's fine. I just think you can do that. I don't want you to get too carried away with bells and whistles. I want you to focus on your message, on looking as professional as you possibly can at each stage of your iteration and focusing on your message and connecting with your audience. All right, so they're often called overlays. I've put a link in there for you. There's a guide by Ecamm, which totally works for other platforms as well in terms of the size and the dimensions. Now, while we're here anyway, I believe I can just show you in the recording. I think I can just tap this little guy and it should come up. Okay, that's an example of an on-screen graphic. And what this is, it's 1920 by 1080. So 1920 by 1080 pixels. And you can do that in Canva. Super duper easy to create. And the trick is you have to save it with a transparent background as a PNG. Okay, it's going to be a .png. Don't do a JPEG with a non-transparent background, because guess what? All this part where I'm speaking through would be white. You'd be like, oh my gosh, my graphic's on top of my face. So this is actually an entire graphic that fills the whole screen, but it's a transparent background. And I often like, as you can see my hands moving down there, is I usually make even a colored part a little bit with the opacity turned on, right? So there's a little bit of opaqueness there, so it's not like solid. I like to do that too. So in the times when I do use an overlay, something like that, and you can do that. But a lot of the apps allow you to do it really easy, like StreamYard, BeLive, you can do, and Ecamm, you can do like little tickers, so it's going by just like television you see, or, the stock market or whatever, or the news, there's some little scrolling message going on. So take that off for now. And finish up on this section 1 here is a long one. Clarifying your audience. Now, what I've done with this, my friends, I've given you a link to an avatar worksheet. Many of you have done tons and tons of work already on who your target audience is, but just in case you haven't and you'd like to do a little more, then I really recommend that you take the time to refine your 2 to 3 ideal customer avatars, or personas, they're called. If you haven't done it at all or in a while, then you can use that worksheet. Okie dokies. So that's just a Google Doc. You can go ahead and download it. It is actually read-only, so you just make your copy. I've given you all the instructions there, and then you're just going to flash out all the information. You say, Mari, how do I know this? Where would I get this information? Some of it you will simply know. Some of it you can survey your audience. Some of it it's oopsies. Apologies. I have to share Chrome when I'm doing that. Here you go. Let me zoom that up for you. That's the only thing with these scenes. You do have to switch back and forth. All this information here, you fill all that. A lot of it you will absolutely know. I mean, there's some like I have like what keeps this person awake at night. And you say, well, how will I know that, Mari? Well, you'll know that because you know whatever solution you offer, it's the solution to the problem they have, the problem that they're keeping them up at night. Okay, those are the things. And then that just helps you to get really inside the minds and the hearts of the people you're trying to reach. And that really helps to inform your message and your content for your lives too. All right. So that's your audience. And then what else do I have? Okay. So prepare to connect. And I think, and then scheduling. Okay. Just 2 more aspects in this first part. Trying to keep them as concise as possible because you've got the workbook as well, but I know there's some really great content. As I mentioned, Module 3 could literally be a course by itself. I've really literally written the book on live streaming successfully for you with this workbook. So preparing to connect. And that's going to be coming up in video number 2, and overcoming the fears is one of the fears is not wanting to be on camera, fear of being on camera. And practice is the solution. And so You might think that you're making eye contact. Like right now, I'm fully aware that my eyes are on the screen. I'm reading the screen. So my eyes are not looking at the camera. And so it's a matter of being cognizant of literally being consciously competent in remembering to make good, sustained eye contact with the camera lens. But don't be afraid to look away. Don't be afraid to glance down at your notes and read something and then come back. And practice is the solution. Practice is the solution. And so, you might think that you're making eye contact. Like right now, I'm fully aware that my eyes are on the screen. I'm reading the screen. So my eyes are not looking at the camera. And so it's a matter of being cognizant of literally being consciously competent in remembering to make good, sustained eye contact with the camera lens. But don't be afraid to look away. Don't be afraid to glance down at your notes and read something and then come back. Just as if you were talking to somebody in real life, right? IRL. You wouldn't just like stare at them like the whole time without hardly blinking and then never looking away. That'd be a little weird. But you can look away a little bit. It's totally natural. It's natural. Maybe different when it's on television. You fully expect the news anchor to constantly be looking at the lens. But with live streaming, it's just a little bit different because it's a little more informal. Okay. So I did give you a tip right here about phone because I see people doing this all the time. It's very tempting if you're using the forward-facing camera and the selfie cam, some people call it, right? And it's very tempting to look at the screen. Can we do that right now? Why don't we do that right now, Mari? Let's do this. And I'm just going to show you on my camera as opposed to squeezing in a live or something here and bring up my phone. So I'm going to put it fairly close. So this is me. If you watch my phone, this is me looking at myself, like looking into my own eyes. This is me looking at the camera lens. Now, I've literally given you a tip in this workbook where I say, put your finger. She's like, where do I look? Where is it? And it's sometimes not obvious on phones. I mean, you think you're looking in the right place. I'm like, okay, it's right there. There's a thing in the middle, but it's actually the speaker. But right next to it, and you're going to hold up to the light and go, okay, yeah, I see it. There's a lens. So here, I'm looking into the lens. Not too close. I'm not cross-eyed. Here, I'm looking into my own eyes. Difference, right? Hopefully you can see that difference. Oopsies. So, good tip for you if you're using your phone, which is totally fine. You can use your phone to stream. Just do your best to remember to make that good eye contact right into the lens. You want to interact regularly with your live audience, but at the same time, I catch some lives from time to time where the person's streaming and you can tell they're maybe a little self-conscious. They're realizing that maybe not as many viewers are showing up as they would like. And so then when someone does show up, they're like, hi, Jeannie. Oh, how are you doing? How's it going in your part of the world? I mean, that's okay. That's okay. It's totally fine to do that. I don't know. I think it'll come with over time and you develop your own style. There's also, I put in the workbook here, there's folks that like to have the countdown timer and they're basically nothing's happening for 10, 12 minutes. That's a style. It's not my preference. I like to go straight in. And then I might do like 1 or 2 minutes where I'm going, boom, the headline, the bullets. I've mentioned that in one of the previous modules. And then I might glance and go and see, okay, who's here? And maybe I've asked about where they are in the world or what's specifically on their minds or hearts right now. And I'll just do a couple of quick comments up on the screen. Okay. But I will tell you that there are times when you're fully expecting a certain number of viewers to tune in live and it's not, something's wonky with the Facebook algorithm or something, who knows? I mean, obviously everything's successfully streaming, but then you're like, how come nobody's showing up? And sometimes I've gotten a couple places where I look at eCam and there's like this lag time. I'm like, oh, nobody's showing up. Am I streaming in the right place? Is this even live? And those doubts and thoughts can they come through your facial expression, right? So it's just like, you just march on, the show must go on. Or you take a minute and go, I'm just going to check that we're streaming in the right place. Yep, great, here we are. Okay, good. I see there's a lag time. You'll see me sometimes doing that. So you are going to be developing your own style. So I like to just jump right in. And I might say, as I've got some ideas for you here, say, keep your questions coming. I love Q&A. I'm happy to answer as many as possible. If I don't get to them live right now, I'll circle back and pop my answers in the comments best I can, right? Put the viewer comments on screen. Most software will let you do that. Some don't, like Zoom and BlueJeans and Facebook Live Producer Native doesn't let you put that on there. And then I mentioned about maybe having a moderator, an admin person on to help you if there's ever any potentially difficult people. It does happen. The more people that join your stream, the more likely, but hopefully you won't have any issues with that. Okay. Finally, in this segment of preparing and planning, I've put about scheduling or not scheduling. I touched on that briefly with the software part, module 2. But again, it's going to be a personal choice. I typically almost always go live unannounced, and I'll tell you a little secret of why. It might have changed in the last few years, but there was a time, probably about 2 years ago, where some fellow professional live streamers and I noticed that scheduling dramatically decreased the number of people that showed up live. And it was as if when you went live spontaneously, suddenly Facebook sent in the notification out, it's popping up in the feed and more people are showing up. And so I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to do unannounced lives. But I definitely will do scheduled lives, like working with one of my brand partners. We've set a specific day and time. We're doing some promotions. We'll talk about that next module 5 on amplifications. But I'll tell you ahead of time, you can't promote, you can't boost, you can't pay to promote a scheduled live. But you'll see in the workbook, I give you a tip of what you can do is create an event, a Facebook event, and then you put the scheduled live. You schedule the live up to 7 days in advance, put the link for that live in an event, and you can promote the event. Then you get RSVPs to the event. It's a great way to do it. So that is the one downside, as I mentioned here. You know, you can't promote it, but it does have its own link, so you can share that across other social channels and email subscribers. And then there's where I'm telling you about the hack to do the event. Shoo. Okay. So, and then there's you do need to have a preview image. Okay, and that's the 1280 by 720 or 1920 by 1080. That's just 16 by 9 shape. Again, make it in Canva, super easy. That one does not have to be transparent. That is basically for the preview image on your wall post for the scheduled live. Okay, shoot. So friends, yes, that's part 1 of 4 about preparation. You know that saying, proper planning prevents particularly poor performance. What is it? 6 P's or something like that? Next, we're going to jump into how to overcome the 4 fears of live streaming. Stay tuned for part 2 of module 3.
So today at class from 1 to 3:30, we are going to delve into the fear of being on camera. We're going to delve into the fear of what to say. And Mari's going to be there to help us. And we're going to do this one, styling. Do you have a style? What to wear? Accessories. My glasses, they're my accessory. I always like to wear earrings because I have these funky earphones on all the time. And then makeup. I wear bright red makeup because I don't want to draw attention to my fat cheeks. Now you probably see them anyway, right? But the lipstick tends to, and the glasses tend to be the focus point. So little tips about accessories and makeup, what to wear, styling. We're going to get into that. And we're also going to understand today and learn what your goal is. It's to gain credibility, likability, and a following. We want to have a following. And then we want best practices and the optimization checklist, which everybody's going to get a copy of these things today. And then the last thing, or the next to the last thing today is what to do with your live stream when it ends. Lots of things there to learn, how to become more and more successful. And once you get some success and followers, it becomes really easy. so to speak. And then we have some Facebook Live resources for you to go and review from Facebook's perspective. So it's 9:31. I just want to hope that everybody shows up today, 1 to 3:30 at 8400 West Sahara. Remember to email agentcare@agentformula.com to confirm RSVP. I think Kane might have reached out to everybody yesterday to make sure that you were going to come. It's an important class. We didn't know if we were going to be overbooked or underbooked, so we were trying to get a handle on that. We hope to see everybody. And these videos that you've watched the last couple of days, you can maybe watch them when you're in the zone there, to maybe watch all 3 of them in a row to really get the continuity of what she's saying, because it's very important that you get the maximum value of your live stream with the right planning and the right preparation. And so she's gone into some of those little details. And sometimes people start their live streams without going into those details for preparation and planning. But then they soon realize that it makes your life so much easier when you have your itinerary. Okay, I'm going to talk about this. I'm going to do my stats. And if Jimmy shows up, then I'm going to engage Jimmy. But I always have some topics, as you know, that I'm going to talk about. And sometimes today, I don't know what I'm going to talk about tomorrow, but by tomorrow morning, I know that. And sometimes I don't know it till 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. But I know that's on my agenda. I got to get my act together so that I give you the best of what I have to offer. So I hope to see everybody today. Annetta, are you coming today? I was asking Annetta. I know Deborah's coming. I'm not sure, Joan, if you're coming. Leslie, you told me you were coming. So anyway, I think Bill Johnson is coming. We're going to bring your computers. We're going to have a great class. And this won't be the last one. This will be one of a series of them. I want to see how fast you all pick up on these things. And we're going to take as much time as it takes to make sure that you go live streaming soon. I'll see you later. Bye, everybody. And I love you.